Hello friends, today's video is the concluding part of the series How to Write the WPS. In the last video, we have covered the WPS format up to the base metal. Today, let us continue the remaining part of it. So, let us start with the remaining part now. Okay, let us start. Welcome back to Weld Tech QC, the YouTube channel of Lloyd's Institute of Technologies, and my name is Vincent. After completing this section, joint design, root opening, back gouging, etc., all this position, now we come to the base metals. Now come to base material. Base material what we are using is IS2062, which is equivalent to ASTM A36. Okay, and we are going to use the thickness of 25 mm, which I had explained earlier, so that we get a unlimited qualification, unlimited thickness qualification out of this WPS. If we get qualified on the 25 mm thickness, then we are eligible to use this WPS to weld unlimited thicknesses. So that's why we are using 25 mm thickness. Okay. And whether you are using any backing material, we are not using, so not applicable anywhere. Okay, and groove weld size will be 25 mm because the plate thickness is 25 mm. PJP, that is partial joint penetration, is not applicable here. Similarly, here we have to mention the electrical characteristics. That is, what is our polarity? Current, DCEP, direct current, electrode positive. Okay, so you can tick here, and power source is constant current power source. Okay, transfer mode is not applicable here. That is applicable when you are doing the GMAW or MIG welding, MAG welding. It is applicable here, but not with SMAW. Okay, after completing this section, let us move into the next. Okay, let us see the filler methods and techniques. In this case of SMAW, we will be using a low hydrogen electrode, that is E701A, which falls in AWS specification A5.1. Okay, so that we can mention here. And the technique, which welding technique are you using, whether it is stringer or a weaving technique. Stringer means your electrodes are going straight, and weaving means you weld it side to side. Your electrodes will move side to side. Okay, there are different types of weaving. So you have to choose the one and mention if it is required. Or in some cases, both are required, like in this case. Okay, normally the root may be a stringer, and root and hot pass will be a stringer in some cases, and the filler and capping will be weaving. So that's why we have mentioned this both. Multi-pass or single pass. Okay, yeah, how many passes there will be there, and we are using 25 mm plate, so obviously there will be multi-passes. Number of electrodes what we are using at a time, number of electrode, how many electrode we will be using a single electrode. Okay, in some cases like SAW welding process, submerged arc welding, there will be 2 or 3 electrodes at a time will be using. So in that case only you have to mention it somewhere here. In this case it is not applicable because we are using SMAW electrodes. So at a time we will be using manually a single electrode. Okay, then flux in this case not applicable because this is again applicable if you are using a submerged arc welding. Similarly, the nozzle size etc. is required for SAW or GMAW, that is MIG, MAG, etc. or TIG. And flux class also applicable for submerged arc welding, but not in this case. Okay, now preheat temperature. In most of the cases it is not required. Minimum 10 degrees Celsius is more than enough. Unless your material is higher, thicker, and definitely you can refer the AWS D1.1 preheat requirement, whether the material is having any preheat requirement. So accordingly you can add up. See, similarly, interpass temperature also will be in the same case, and you can maintain a maximum of 250 degrees Celsius. Post weld heat treatment, whether it is necessary or not. If you are to slow the cooling down process, then you have to cool it down at a certain temperature so that your cooling process is slow. Whether it is required, again you can refer the documents including the code. Okay, here you got the joint details and included angle, that is 60 degree, and here BW, that means back weld is done. Here it is a note is there, back weld after back gouging, means after welding here you are allowed to make a back gouging using a grinder or using a arc gouging method like carbon arc gouging, air carbon arc gouging. The number of beads, how many beads are there, okay. Electrode size you can mention, current DCEP means direct current electrode positive, and what will be the amperes that you can mention here, the range 90 to 150 in this case. Voltage also you can mention a range. R speed, that means the travel speed, millimeter per second, how much. The wire feed speed, that is actually required for the MIG welding process or GMAW welding process. Okay, but in this case it is not applicable. Okay, and here you can give some notes like, since you are using a low hydrogen electrode, that is 7018, holding ovens, the temperature should be maintained, the related humidity should be maintained, and that should be mentioned here. And drying of low hydrogen electrodes, all these are suggested here. And finally the signatures for the approval and so on. So that's all. It is so simple. Once you are familiar with one or two, then it is very simple for you. Okay friends, that's all for today. In the next upload, I will be discussing about the type and number of qualification tests required to qualify plates above 25 mm, all kind of tests, visual inspection, NDTs and destructive tests. Okay, I am using above 25 mm because once you are qualified with above 25 mm thickness plate, you are qualified unlimited thicknesses. Okay, so wait for that. Until then, goodbye. Thanks for watching. See you in the next. Goodbye.